We are. Erico try. Oh, so apparently we're not broadcasting on Twitter right now. But please wait a moment and try again. Yeah, we'll go live. So now that we're 20 seconds live on the services, nothing like tech issues to get going, right? Yeah. Welcome back, DB.
Yeah, we're like that meme with the guy with the stick, poking. Do something.
Do something.
We're 20 seconds in and we haven't said a word. That's great.
Yeah. Yells at blue sky.
Yeah.
Get off my lawn. Get off.
Hey, there's only two of us.
There is.
Scruffy on a mission?
He is. He's going a little loony tonight. So
gotcha.
He is on special assignment. So
maybe he can fight his way out of that.
Oh, maybe. You never know. So yeah, I guess we'll get going.
All right.
And now, on with the show. And now,
time for bladder check. Check.
Check.
Check. Wait. Screw it. I'm holding it.
But not Scruffy.
Podcasting, the final audio frontier. These are the legends of Brown Squadron.
Our computer is picking up a strange signal. Here, sir, you better take a look at it.
The ongoing mission? To explore the Star Wars universe and other nerd culture topics. To seek new content and new cantinas, bars, and lounges. To boldly annoy Scruffy by making too many bad jokes. Welcome to the Hyperspace Heroes Podcast.
And welcome to Hyperspace Heroes. This is Brown Leader signing in. All wing report in.
Wing 4. Round 4.
How's it going tonight, DB?
Oh man, I haven't been on the show for a couple weeks, and I think I've finally gotten over my postpartum depression from missing ICCC. So I'm back.
Right.
And family obligations have kept me away from the show, but I'm back.
Right on. Well, that's important. And,
y'all got to suffer with me now.
Right on. So no Scruffy tonight. But he did pass along a message, which is Katie remembered Scruffy, so let's not forget that.
Oh, man, I had forgotten that.
Yeah, and then a little bit later tonight, we're going to be joined with Wade from Records of the Republic. But welcome to episode 134 or 159 on the Spotchka scale. And we're going to talk some Andor tonight. And we're going to talk about the final 3 episodes, kind of our thoughts. That's kind of why we're having Wade on tonight. But DB, you missed last week, and
yeah,
we did our ICCC wrap up. Brownie joined us for that, and he
excellent replacement. I'm surprised you let me back after having him on.
Right? No, he had a blast down there, and so let's kick things off and just let's do a little recap on ICCC and get your thoughts of how you thought the con went.
Again, it's only been 2 weeks. I'm ready to go again. And I see Mike Havens has just posted he's looking for next year's badge artist already. So the ball's rolling. Let's hope he can throw together just as good a show as the last 4 that we've been to. This one, I thought the venue was fantastic. Perfect size, great hotel, had a great staff, amazing breakfast. What can I say? I just love this convention. It's so much fun. It's the one time a year, we plan on making a long trip to a con, something that's not just a day trip or a couple hours. I thought it was great. We had some amazing guests join us individually or in groups on the stage. I made a great friend on the smoking bench. I don't know if you guys talked about that at all.
We kind of danced around that a little bit.
Oh no, she was wonderful. I made friends with Paige Turco and from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and just a sweet lady. It's just seemed we kept running into each other every time we stepped outside. And I'll be the first to admit I wasn't too familiar with her work. But Brownie One brought something up when we were interviewing her on the stage, a show she was on called The 100.
Yes.
And I was unfamiliar with it, but guess what? It's on Netflix.
Oh, there you go.
And I've been watching it, and I'm really enjoying it.
Really?
So, yeah.
Yeah. I think I watched the first couple seasons of that and then just kind of lost track, I think, after a while. But but keep going.
Well, I think that particular show kind of died a quiet death because it was on the CW, not exactly the pinnacle of broadcast. Had it been on Sci-Fi or something a little more mainstream, for lack of a better word, that show might still be on. Obviously I haven't seen the entire story arc yet, but what a great premise. It's kind of like Beverly Hills 90210 in post-apocalyptic Earth. It was kind of neat, but I'm really enjoying it. I was unfamiliar with this show, and it's got a great cast. It's got Henry Ian Cusick from Lost, doing an American accent, which kind of threw me. But
yeah, it's got quite the cast to it. You're not wrong about that. And because you're probably still on first season.
Yes.
And there is she doesn't come into later seasons, but it's well-known actress. Where is she? There's Paige Turco, and where did she go? I'll look for it later. But yeah, so it's definitely a CW show. It'll feel like it the longer it goes on. Not knocking it, but it is what it is. And I enjoyed the first few seasons. I should go back and kind of finish that series up.
Yeah, I would have never known about it had I not made friends with Paige Turco and had Brownie One not brought it up. So, we're talking about ICC. There's something new I gained from going to this convention that I never would have stumbled on my own. So, but going back to the con, I mean, there was another time I was just sitting out. They had a beautiful fountain and some benches around it, kind of around in the roundabout entry. And here comes up on his rolling skateboard, whatever those things are called, is Warwick Davis. Just plops down on the bench and starts making phone calls. I'm like, you don't see this anywhere else. The stars are all sequestered away, but here's Wicket and Willow and Flitwick and whatever else. He's done 1,000 things. He's sitting, just across the way from me here, just on his phone. So that's one of the reasons I love this con so much. And the other reason is just the amazing sales floor. I mean, so much. And, we can talk about what I purchased. Hey, Waldo, how you doing?
Waldo, welcome to the show, sir. One of our contest winners. Oh, speaking of which, we should get into that. So because we talked about that at the end of the show, or when we started to wrap up Andor, we were going to do a giveaway let me bring it up. We're going to give away this autographed Colin Cantwell print for our Andor wrap up. And I've got it here on site. So we're going to give that away on the show tonight. To enter that, as usual, we have a certain hashtag. And tonight's hashtag is going to be Katie remembers Scruffy. No, just kidding.
I thought you were really going to do that. That'd be awesome.
No. So hashtag Cantwell, because that is the artist of the print that we are giving away tonight. But yeah, type in hashtag Cantwell into the chat to make sure to get an entry into that drawing. And I'm going to throw it at the bottom of the screen for a good portion of the show, just so everybody can remember that. But yeah, it's an autograph print. It's really cool. You're not going to get any there's a limited quantity of those anymore because he did pass away a couple of years ago. But yeah, definitely type that into the chat for a chance to win tonight. Also, let's dive a little bit more into the chat. Dang, I almost forgot Katie Sackhoff remembers Scruffy, right? We'll make sure to give lots of reminders.
You know what, Carbonites? When you work for the guy every day, he doesn't let you forget.
And then Carbonites, when talking about Rose, reminds me of Rose Tico's sister who dies at the beginning of Last Jedi, Paige Tico. Right. Not quite the same. But... There are some BTS stories that are going through Droid Bait's mind right now.
If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything nice. The one thing I learned from the movie Bambi, okay?
We can say that the connection is they both had explosive situations.
Yes.
There we go.
And I have actually met Paige Turco. Paige Tico apparently, died in a battle, so I never got the chance to meet her. But what else you want to talk about the convention? Scruffy got us there safely home safely, and Brownie 4 joined us, or Brownie 1. So Brownie 4
Brownie
is
1. Yeah,
Brownie 1 joined us, so we got to spread the love, and it was nice to have him along.
Right on. What were speaking of Warwick Davis, we got to interview him this year. Brownie wanted to sit there in an interview with him, and that was a lot of fun. It was funny because I don't remember if it was during that episode or during our review, or Brownie one was telling me about it later on, but he was intimidated. Warwick carries that or vibe around him quite often where you don't want to disturb him, but once he got talking, it was he was quite comedic.
He's funny. Yeah, that was the biggest thing I took away was, man, this guy's funny. And you see him in all these other roles. He played the Leprechaun, for crying out loud, and then he's cracking jokes.
Right.
So, and how about that Katie Sackhoff interview?
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I think I could feel I think Scruffy was so nervous I could just feel his leg vibrating under the table when we were interviewing her. Which, by the way, you can catch that interview on our live tab on YouTube. And speaking of Katie, I was just, in this segment, I want to dedicate to Scruffy since he's not here, but been listening to her last couple episodes. A couple Tuesdays ago, she dropped the episode she mentioned while she was there with Mando himself, Brendan Wayne, a little more in-depth interview than what she even did at ICCC. And that was a good interview. And then the week that was last week, and the week before that, and the week this week are with Star Trek related guests. And Terry Matalas was a couple weeks back, and he was the showrunner for season 3 of Picard. And this week was, I'm only halfway through the interview, is Brent Spiner. And
I've heard of him.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have. And come to find out, Katie's quite the Trekkie. I mean, she's a huge Trekkie.
Oh, don't tell Scruffy.
I know, right? Burst his poor little guy's bubble. But but yeah, she and then something else I learned watching or listening to the interview is she's never watched Battlestar Galactica.
And how?
I did find when she was talking with Terry Matalas, she's watched like uncut or unfinished screeners of the show just to keep up with where her character would be in the storyline, but didn't have any of the special effects or anything, the music, nothing. So she's kind of seen it, but not all of it, which definitely blew my mind a little bit.
It's such to me, that is still the best 80 some odd hours of television ever created. That story front to finish is amazing. So, and I watch, a lot of sci-fi, and that's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt. So we're, let's see what else. Roger Christian. That was another great.
What's funny is I needed something on in the background the other day, so I put on I'll call it Star Wars. It's now known as Episode 4: A New Hope. But I actually had the special edition on, and I sat through the credits, and I went, interviewed him. I mean, because Dennis Lawson's in there, and Garrick Hagan, and when I saw Roger Christian, I got pretty stoked because we just talked to him. 2-3 weeks ago,
right?
And it's amazing that these names have been scrolling by for 48 years, meaning nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like, oh, these are real people. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Angus McInnes, that was the other one.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yes, it's so lucky to get to talk to that gentleman for
that was that was a great one definitely before he passed. What were some of the highlights that like experiences that we had at ICCC this year?
Oh, how much time do we have?
We got a while. We're
the layout of the hotel this year was amazing, with a central courtyard and every room having this balcony, so you could look around and just see the nerddom, and the rooms open for the room sales. That amazed me, and being within walking distance of pretty much anything we needed. Never had to move Scruffy's car for 4 days, and just again, the celebrities just being there. I mean, toward the end of the show, I'm gonna blank on his name now. The fella from Revenge of the Nerds.
Oh yeah. Hoshi.
Tochi. Brian Tochi?
Yeah.
He was tearing down his booth and calling it a day. And he's just walking around, thanking everybody for coming and talking to him. And again, you don't see that at corporate cons, and he was funny in real life, and I swear to God, the guy has not aged a day in 40 years. He looks good.
He does.
So,
he does.
Oh, and to Scruffy's chagrin, he was also in Star Trek. So,
right on.
So, waiting in line. I waited with Scruffy before the interview to get an autograph from Katie Sackhoff. So we were first in line, and I shouldn't say we. Scruffy waited longer than I did. I just kind of joined him. And when she got there, she was setting up her booth, getting her markers out, and we're just chatting about kids, and you realize, man, these guys make all this great art and television and film, and they're still people. She wanted to talk about her kids, and just chatting with her about that nonsense. Oh yeah. And then she looked at Scruffy and she goes, have we met before? So I was there. I swear to God, I was there. She remembered him. So
right on.
I mean, these are the things that come to my mind. What about you? What were some highlights for you?
It was the Brownie one being able to join us. That was great. Being able to spend 5 days with him. Because when your kids grow up and move out of the house, you don't get to see them as much. And the fact that he wanted to be there with us was pretty cool. But just the interviews, seeing the ECPC TV crew again, seeing Mike the Mike guy and his entourage.
Oh yeah.
With and yeah, I obviously the layout. Oh, the omelets were a highlight, right? So staying at Embassy Suites, if you've ever, I think most Embassy Suites are like this, from what I understand, and they have a breakfast is included in your room rate, and it's not a continental breakfast by any means. What most people think it is. They've got a nice hot bar, fruit, oatmeal. Then they've got an omelet bar, which is those ladies. They were the VIPs of the show for me.
Yes,
honestly. And it was, just for me, it's really just reconnecting with everybody. And even in little ways, I mentioned this on the show last week. Holonet99 is somebody that we talk to, or we DM, or not DM with, but he's on Twitter. we're on, or not Twitter, Instagram. We're on Instagram, and we're always liking each other's posts and everything. And there was this one guy that was like, every time we'd go through security, even maybe the show hadn't started, we were going in early to go hit the podcast room and that kind of stuff, and he'd always just give us that nod, and and it was actually like the downward nod, which is like somebody, and I'm like, it took me a day to realize who it was, but it was HollowNet99 from Instagram. And just again, connecting with people. There's no egos, no nothing. You're into what you're into in terms of Star Wars, TMNT, even Trek. And if you're dressed up as a Trekkie there, Scruffy's not going to make fun of you. Don't worry. And he might even give you a hug. But the cosplay was really good. I enjoyed that Mars Attack guy was.
Oh, that was awesome.
Phenomenal. And yeah, Roger Christian, that was definitely a huge highlight for me to get to talk to that guy. We connected with him, we're hopefully going to have him on the show sometime down the road. We just need to set a date with him that works for his schedule. That is the guy that has created a lot of the props that you know and love from a galaxy far, far away. And the unexpected, some of the unexpected stuff was fun with, this year's topic on the podcast stage was Skeleton Crew. Who else did we get to interview? Yeah, Paige, Rena Owen. Oh, what a sweetheart. She was great. And getting our Brownie One and I showed the Bando Warrior, Mando, because Brendan Wayne was there, and getting his autograph on this figure. And I'm going to be working on getting Lateef and Barry Lowen, I guess, who is somebody else that has worn the suit, is going to be in Grand Rapids this year, this summer. So Scruffy's really pushing me to get down there so we can get Barry Lowen's autograph as well. But yeah, and it's just just the four of us nerding out for 3 days. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a difficult adjustment to come back to real life and responsibility. And
I know, right? And
you talk about Force 99.
HollowNet99.
HollowNet99.
Yeah.
My bad.
No.
Yeah, I kept seeing that young man, and I'm like, he knows us. Why can I not place him? And the minute you said that, I'm like, oh yeah, this guy's great.
Yep.
He would always smile and nod at us.
Yeah. And Lansing, not Grand Rapids. For Barry Lowen. But yeah, it was it was our 4th year going, and it's like for cons, it's like coming home.
Yeah. For
me. And that's why I appreciate it so much. It's worth the drive, even with Scruffy behind the wheel. It's worth the drive. And we gave him some proper recognition last week.
No, he really is. I tease him a lot, but he gets us there and home every year.
So I am I definitely gonna send some feedback though for next year. Definitely think they should up the Trek celebrities, in that Scruffy wants to lead the interviews on all of them for next year. So yeah,
see how that works out. Okay.
Yeah, right. And the other thing is just the fact that ECPC TV throws us so many interviews to do. And even walking into some of them barely prepared, like Pages, grabbing Brownie One was definitely great, because again, we talked about the 100, and but yeah, just they're just so gracious with extending interviews to additional people, podcasters that are there, and that opportunity. And Matt and Micah are so good with guests, and I learn every year that I go down there to try to enhance my interview skills, so that when we have guests, we can give a better presentation, and the guest enjoys the interview more.
Yeah, with those guys, there's never a lull or are searching for the next topic. I mean, those guys are boom. They are amazing to watch with their professionalism. And to join on stage. I've been in podcasts with them. So
yes. Oh, without a doubt. Speaking of fourth year going down to ACC, I'm going to use that as a segue. And it's a little too bad that Scruffy's not on here with us tonight, because in 2 days from now, let me find my ticker here. 2 days from now, Brown Squadron will have officially been on the air for 4 years.
Really?
Yes. That's why we say episode 159, right? So in 4 years, we've done 159 episodes, plus all the extra ICCC pieces that we've gotten out of that. We've done the Wooks Up series. We did the Wooks Up series last year as a little extra. But yeah, June 7th, we dropped our very first episode under the moniker, though, of Alderaan A-Holes, for those that that may remember that. And
yeah, speaking of uncomfortable silences at times, woo,
yeah, right.
I mean, yeah, we were learning.
Yep. June 7th, 2021.
Wow.
We posted a 46 minute podcast, audio only, and it is available if you go to our channels on Spotify, Spotify, Apple, anywhere that has podcasts, and you scroll all the way down, you'll find episode 1, season 1, episode 1, Alderaan A-Holes, Meet the A-Holes is what it was entitled. And
I seem to recall talking about our first Star Wars experience and what Star Wars means to us, kind of the things we always ask new guests.
Yeah.
But we rambled on for 46 minutes, apparently.
We did, and we were worried about covering 5 or 15 minutes that episode, and that was followed up with our second episode, which was entitled Impeach Yoda. And we had the people that have listened to that episode have enjoyed it. Now, I warn you, the audio is rough. We were on very cheap mics back then. Not that they're much improved now, but we were audio only, figuring kind of getting our vibe, getting our feel down. And that was before Scruffy started huffing Diet Mountain Dew, or Mountain Dew Zero, and when the show really got spicy. But yeah, we did 25 episodes that calendar year, wrapped up in December, took a break, and then relaunched in 2022 as Hyperspace Heroes. And honestly, it's a little easier to extend an invitation to celebrities to come on Hyperspace Heroes than it is Alderaan A-Holes. Although we've interviewed a few that I think would have really enjoyed that, would have laughed.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes, I think they appreciate the humor. But yeah, and Rural Farm Boy was our first guest, episode 25.
Oh, RFB, I miss him.
Yeah, I do too. I think he's kind of out there, just not active anymore.
Hey, Rural Farm Boy, if you're out there, drop us a line. We wanna say hi.
Right on. Let's jump back to we've gotten a few more comments in. The interview with Roger was epic. Thank you. Yes, that was claustrophobic. That's all I'm ever gonna think now whenever I watch the original Alien. And then Huffy Scruffy. Yes, and he's not here to do his commercial for the show tonight, and I wish he was.
Huffy Scruffy, kind of like Saw Gerrera, huffing the fuels, And we have our own Huffy Scruffy.
Yeah. So this time next year we'll be hitting 5. We'll be 5-year-old. 5. So
you know what? Next year I want to do more like you did 2 years ago at ICC. I want to do some more walking the floor, talking to people on the floor, get more of that man on the street, just so people can see what ICC is all about.
Right on. And what was it? It's been a little over a year since we took the jump to YouTube and started doing these live streams. And for me, it's been, I love the fact that we moved over to this format. I love doing a live show. We have the best chat, hands down. The people that jump in for us. And by the way, Hashtag Cantwell. Hashtag Cantwell. Look at the ticker down at the bottom. We're giving away an autographed Colin Cantwell print. And if you don't know who Colin Cantwell is,
show him the print again. Show him the print.
Colin Cantwell was one of the original crew of ILM that helped. He was a ship. He was a designer for ships and things, and helped design the original concepts along with Ralph McQuarrie to design to get the look and the feel of Star Wars. And this design, this ship that we're giving away tonight, the print of it is of what has become the Cantwell cruiser, and which was used in Andor season 1, which is why we want to give it away tonight. Found it, got it from his estate, because unfortunately Colin has passed, but his estate has remaining prints available, so I picked a couple up, and we wanted to give this one away as kind of a tribute to Andor. But the I mean, that's pretty much why we're doing it, and it's kind of a little piece of history in terms of looks like I lost.
No.
Okay.
I was particularly leaving it blank because we're not giving this one away, but I wanted to show everybody. This is also a Colin Cantwell print.
Yes.
The guys know that the Y-Wing is my favorite fighter, and this is a prototype Y-Wing from Colin Cantwell. And the guys gave me this print for my birthday last month. So I want to say these are awesome. I'm just looking for a place for it to go on the wall at this point.
Yeah, I don't know if you happen to see. So I gave Scruffy a autographed print of the original Falcon design.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that the one that kind of looks like the Space 1999 ship?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I knew he would enjoy that. So,
yeah.
And that's why when we were at ICCC doing floor sales or room sales, there was a bin with like diecast, ships, and there was a prototype Falcon design in there. So I gave that to Scruffy as a little additional gift. The other thing, we're going to give away that print tonight, but then we're also going to have a follow-up prize afterwards, which is I found this a Hot Wheels version of the Cantwell Cruiser. Didn't even know they made these. Found it in Funky Toys or something down in out in the Detroit metropolitan area when I was down there about 8 weeks ago. And Funky Toys, I think they're called. But found that, want to give that away as a consolation prize after we give away the print later tonight. But yeah, 4 years. 4 years. Yeah. And it's been, and it was great because ICCC gave us our first taste of live streaming when we went the first year, and we got our 15 minutes and we were all like, just nervous as all heck. And then Scruffy's loaded up on sugar and about to go into diabetic shock during that live stream.
I almost forgot about that.
You kept the crowd into the 15 minutes, thankfully. And it was I was a ball of nerves, and
I work with the public for a living, got to put on a show. Somehow I pulled that off, and then I promptly, bid it trying to interview Jim Swearingen live because I was fanboying over that guy big time. So
Jim was there again this year. And
I was tempted to get one of those life-size cutouts he had. So.
That was great. That was great. It was so funny. But yeah, it was 4 years. Let's see, what were some other, for when we restarted the clock, so to speak, when we went to Hyperspace Heroes and started the count again at 1 for episodes. And, doing these, the thing I wanted to mention was doing these live streams has really freed me up in terms of being an editor, because when we were audio only, I would spend Sunday as a day where I do a lot around the house. We do a lot of food prepping. So I would be doing a lot of cooking on Sundays. And I would have my laptop on the dining room table, listening to the raw audio version, stopping every moment time I heard a cough or a chair or something, a squeak, and I'd run from the kitchen and hit pause and then rewind and edit it out. And 3 to 4 hour process has turned into 20 minutes for me when we post the audio versions of this, which is I couldn't be happier.
You know what? If the phone rings now, it stays. You
Right?
get us warts and all.
Warts and all, but no, I'm so glad we made that jump a couple years in.
Well, we've been able. I mean, there's visual proof that we've got to talk to really cool people. You know, Vanessa Marshall.
Yes, she was our first celebrity.
Another connection from ICC, and what a fantastic lady to talk to us. Wow, how many people?
Yeah, Chris Bartlett was our episode 75, and then Paul Sun-Hyung Lee, Carson Teva himself, was episode 100. I mean, how awesome is that? And
we're getting closer to getting our Captain Teva action figures.
Yes.
I think it's August that they're going to be shipped.
Yes, and we'll be giving away. I ordered extras, so we'll be giving away a few of those during the holiday season.
I tell you, if he comes to another con near us, I'm taking that figure. I'm getting the autograph. What a great gentleman!
Oh, he is. He's absolutely great, and I think he's doing a Jazzwares. Live stream tonight. So, we're the unofficial Jazzwares Carson Teva pre-show.
It's kind of like we were opening for Celebration Japan, right?
Yep. And Katie Sackhoff, who remembered Scruffy, by the way.
Oh yeah. Hey, we got some people throwing down the hashtag. That's awesome.
We do. Yep. So hashtag Cantwell for a chance to win that autographed print or the follow-up prize of the Cantwell Cruiser. But yeah, so here's to 4 years, and here's to many, many more. Can't look. We're working behind the scenes to add more celebrity guests. One of the goals we have, definitely get a few more on. We've got some connections, so we're going to be working on that. Roger Christensen, and then some of the other celebrities that we had at the that we met at ICCC. So looking forward to that. Plus, now that it's post celebration, there's a guest that was at last year's ICCC that we got to interview. That he and I are talking on Facebook about him coming on. That'll probably be a special Sunday episode because he's located over in England, Forlam himself. And so working on that one, working on a very special non-live stream, just audio only episode for Dungeons and Dragon fans. We've got to set a date. In fact, I got to reach out to the publicist again, but setting up a date to interview if you're into D&D, you'll know it's an author and co-wrote one of the most well-known series in D&D, and we're going to be getting her on at some point. Like I said, that'll be a pre-recorded. We'll just post it up as an audio only episode. And it'll be this summer because I think she goes to one of the big cons in August, and I think we're going to try to do it before that. But and make sure again, hashtag Cantwell for a chance to get into the drawing. So yeah, that we've got a lot to look forward to. I'm excited.
And
definitely
it's only going to get bigger over the next 2 years as we get close to the 50th. It hurts to say that, the 50th anniversary of Star Wars.
Right on.
Which I don't know how that's possible when I'm 29 and I saw it in theaters. So. But it's just going to be more and more. Although in the news recently, Mark Hamill said that he's going to step back.
Is he?
That's what he says. But I mean, how much more can you milk the Luke factor?
Sure enough.
I mean, his character's done his arc. He's come back from the dead. So, props to him for saying, hey, let the new generation carry the story forward. So.
Good evening, unboxing, and glad you got your entry in. Carbonates, now we know where Adelphi Rangers is tonight. Yeah, definitely going to be watching the Jazzers for sure on that.
Come on, Adelphi, we're still here.
Oh, I know. And you know what? Adelphi, we talk a lot. Adelphi Rangers and I talk a lot on social, and I am still, see if I still have those pictures on here. He's still the only guy that has created Brown Squadron ships. So
yeah,
definitely dope. Definitely very cool of him to do that. And
I don't see the Brown Squadron Y-Wing in there anywhere. Come on, Adelphi.
And Maya DB, how do you think I feel about Star Wars turning 50? Like the rest of us, probably very sore in spots, talking about my sciatica, and
I got things that hurt that I didn't know existed. So
that should be the new movie in 2027 is Star Wars, my sciatica, the Revenge of the
Sciatica, a Star Wars story.
Sciatica Star Wars. Right. Blue plate, and all the characters are having blue plate specials. And
they're all Bill Knapp's. Do Bill Knapp's exist anymore?
I don't know. I know we don't have any up here.
That was known as an old folks restaurant.
Yeah, right on.
They're at the Howard Johnson's, okay?
So let's flip over into Andor. Wade is going to be joining us soon, probably about 20 minutes or so, but we could start talking about Andor. We didn't get a chance to do our Andor wrap up, talk about the last 3 episodes because we went to Nashville. And last week we talked about going to Nashville, just like we did at the beginning of this episode.
For the last 40 minutes. Hey, yeah.
If you can't tell, we get excited to go to Nashville. And the final 3 episodes, and then we'll kind of just do a final thoughts about what we thought about Andor overall as a series. And we got another comment. Unboxing. I plan to be here when Star Wars turns 80. Rock on.
Yeah, so do I, unboxing, but
Unboxing also said I was 18 when I saw Star Wars. Right on.
Yeah, but Unboxing, was that in the theaters on the first run?
I think so. Oh. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. No, I think he's about our age. Unboxing is.
I saw it when I was 7.
Here's your answer. Yes.
Rock on, Unboxing. Rock on.
So he's a little younger than us. And so yeah, very cool. Very, very cool. Andor episodes 9 through 12. The first one was Make It Stop. So that was probably addressed to all the haters. And
I thought that would have been a first season, talking about all the walking and talking.
Right? No, this episode definitely stood out. It's 1 BBY, right? And it starts off with Lonnie sitting on a park bench or pacing around a park bench or something, and he meets Luthen right out in the open, and I was very surprised to see that. And Luthen's like, Lonnie is like, I'm out. You've been burned. There's no recovering from this. I've burned some bridges. I need out. I've got a family. You promised me that we would get out. And what'd you think? Were you as surprised as I was when Luthen was very open about, okay, yeah, here's where we're going. Yeah.
I knew when he was saying that there was only one way this scenario ends.
One way out.
One way out, and Lonnie couldn't swim.
Right.
So, because, he was like, oh, well, here's all our secret plans.
And
then Luthen promptly, orphans his child and widows his wife. So,
ruthless.
Well, and that was when the first thing clicked in me that said, Luthen is really no better than Saw Gerrera. He'll do whatever it takes, spare nobody. And that's why he's an outsider within the coalescing rebellion.
Right. Here's a follow-up unboxing. I saw it 11 times in the theater.
Wow.
talking about Star Wars, and Carbonite's responding, unreal, impressive, most impressive. And then an Andor comment from Connor. Connor, welcome to the show. And don't forget to get your entry into the drawing tonight. Episode 10 of Andor Season 2 will haunt me forever. I can't stop thinking about that episode in particular. The more I think about it, the more I love it. Such a great, thought-provoking piece of TV. Yeah, because we get into basically what we've been promised all along, which is not only Luthen's backstory, but Clea's as well. And,
yes,
we've been asking this whole time, who's really running the show? Is it Luthen or is it Clea? And, man, this arc and the next arc, Clea, holy cow, does she step out? And but anyway, Luthen warns after offing Lonnie or thanking him for his service, he he meets with Clea and he's like, well, we've been burned, we got to go, you got to go to Yavin, I'm going to go back to the antiquity store and I'm going to torch the radio or ruin it, and sabotage it. And Clea's like, no, I'll do it. And he's like, no, go. And we get interwoven things with, the backstory. We learn that Luthen Rail was Sergeant Lear, and I'm sure there's some sort of a Shakespeare reference there, and finds they're just completely massacring some people. And somebody said they were wearing, what type of armor was it? I don't know. There was one theory online that it was maybe Mimban, but I don't know. And it's left kind of vague. But the point is, I was really impressed with the storytelling, the way they saved the special effects budget because they were doing everything via radio, broadcast and radio communications, and just the sheer terror that method invoked, because you could just feel the massacre going on. And as from a storytelling standpoint, I thought that was a very great, very, very cool choice. But yeah, he finds Clea in this like storage behind a grate, something. First thing I texted the guys and I was like, that's Newt. And there was definitely an alien reference. There had
absolutely
some sort of alien Easter egg there, because even the inside of the ship looked like something you'd see in Alien or Aliens. But yeah, he finds Clea, and then they get into you learn their backstory, right? But before that, he goes to the antiquities shop. Dedra finally faces off with Axis. We see that scene, and I know a lot of us were debating on how it was going to go down. We figured, and it was what I like again about the storytelling. What I liked was she found him. We know she found him because she's there, but it's not until later that we find out how she found him. I think it was the next episode when she's being we find that Dedra broke some rules.
Yeah.
So she's supposed to be focused on Gorman, and here she is trying to arrest Axis before he tries to seppuku himself. And that's kind of what it is, right? And
I'm thinking there's a lot of people trying to Google that word right now. So.
But with that blade, and I liked going back to the writing. She asks him in the shop, she's like, well, is there anything fake? And his response, well, there are two pieces. I'm paraphrasing, but he's like, there's two pieces in here that I know of, meaning the two of them. And
he says there's two pieces of questionable authenticity.
Yes.
I thought, that is genius writing.
Yeah, without a doubt. And so he tries to off himself because he knows he doesn't want to be captured. They take him to the Linso Hospital, which, for those that read Arabic, the cool little High Republic Easter egg there. But so we find out that Dedra and I'm kind of blending into this next episode too, because again, all three arcs kind of some storylines overlap, and she like again interwoven with past scenes. You see him taking Clea under his wing, and over years and years, just how slowly this rebellion has been starting. And the title "Make It Stop" is when he's the Sergeant Lear and he's having those regrets, realizing what they're doing is wrong, and he can't listen to the radio anymore. And he's like, "Make it stop, make it stop." And his moment, his pivotal moment of change into becoming Luthen. And I thought the scene on Naboo, and it's been confirmed that it was Naboo, was a great scene with Clea. And you see them getting into the antiquities thing, and that whole cover story, or actually it was a way to make a living.
It started out bartering just to survive,
right? And then it puts into perspective too just how far they've come and what they've built. Because of their work, not his, but their work. We had the formal rebellion and Yavin and all the supplies and the military might and everything. And so it was a great contrast to see that. And, because some people might question, well, why do a flashback episode? Do you really need to do it? But I thought it showed a great, how far we've come kind of thing.
Well, that was my first impression. I'm like, you're waiting until darn near the end of this whole story to give us a flashback?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy, but it's so brilliantly interwoven into the story.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so the Empire Dedra takes in Luthen to the hospital, like we were saying. Clea jumps right into action, and oh my goodness, she was it this episode where she also invades the hospital, or was it the next episode? I'm trying to remember which.
No,
one.
it was this episode.
Okay, yeah.
Because when he's deciding, I'll go destroy the radio, you go, and he uses the phrase "move," and during the flashback, when young Clay is there, it's when I tell you to move, you move, and I mean just those cues, and then she goes into this hospital like Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator. Get the hell out of my way or die. I mean, it's just brilliant.
Oh, I mean, she's crafty. She's getting the uniform and then going up the back stairwells and then using E.T.'s grandma in the elevator, and what a great comedic bit that was, right in the middle of all this series.
Yes,
that was some well-used humor in just the right spot. And because early on in the season, it was almost like we were talking about how they were almost overusing humor, and this was such a well-placed. And the pace of this episode, even with flashbacks, was really good.
Yeah,
and she takes on the Empire herself, and it just shows what a character. I mean, meaning Clea as a personality in Star Wars, and wow. I mean, just wow. And I didn't know if she was going to make it out of there or not. I'm glad she did. And but talk about somebody that's resourceful and Carbonate. Hey, what? You're gonna have to tell us what you mean by that, Carbonates. But yeah, I mean, her resourcefulness to get in through Imperial security of a lockdown hospital, or it wasn't locked down at that point, and to take on Imperial special forces and to distract them, and I mean the explosions on the landing pads, and then she knows what she has to do. She knows she can't save Luthen, and she makes the choice that has to be made because there's no way the Empire can have all those secrets. And here's her mentor, her father figure. There was even a line in there about so Carbonate's the elevator scene with the ET Granny and Clea's response. Yeah, right. No, yeah, okay, I get your comment now. Yeah, I was like, what? and he's been raising her this whole time to make the tough decision, to know when to have to pull the trigger, so to speak, like on Naboo. And I mean, just the parallels and the symbolism, and just, yeah, I think somebody said it earlier, Connor said it, haunting episode for sure.
Well, the actress who plays Clea is amazing to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
But then they find a child actor who's just as steely. It reminds me of the whole young Ahsoka thing during the Ahsoka series. How did they find an actor to pull that off? That's just amazing.
Oh, right, without a doubt. And I definitely, it was compelling enough that if they wanted to do a spin-off story in animation or a book or something, I'm in.
Hey, Disney, hear me out, Disney. You've got Clea with Untold Stories. You've got Omega in the same time frame with Untold Stories. I'm just saying. There's all kinds of stories about the Galactic Civil War that you could use these two and make amazing television.
You could. Yeah. Great point, DB. Great point. Right before while she's sneaking in, the ISB comes in and arrest Dedra.
Yeah, here's a twist I did not see. Oh, you are right, Carbonite.
Show. Yeah. There you go. Put Enfant's Nest. Oh,
man,
yeah.
it's like intergalactic Charlie's Angels now. Ooh, this is awesome.
Right.
This could take the place of Teva and Reed Intergalactic Popo right now.
It could.
We've got stellar Charlie's Angels going on.
And you could put Luthen's voice on the voice box to give them their voice, to give them their missions.
Are you listening, Disney?
Right.
I want 2% of profits. That's it. 2%.
Just 2%. They arrest Dedra, which did not quite expect that. So and I can't wait to talk about the next episode because
here it is. He's kind of on a little mission of his own throughout the show. You don't realize.
And you start to learn that Dedra's maybe broken some policies because, again, she's supposed to be working on Gorman, and here she is obsessed over getting access. And actually, Gorman, the massacre is already done by this point. So.
Yeah, Gorman's done, and what's his face? Corn Pop is gone.
And so it's, she kind of, now that I think about it, she kind of adopted Corn Pop's obsession with achieving her goal.
I never made that parallel, but you're right.
Now that you're talking about it. Oh, Adelphi Rangers. Welcome to the show. Adelphi, put your hashtag Cantwell in for the giveaway tonight before you go. Now that I think about it, so Corn Pop's done. We find out there was a relationship there. Like, she really did care about Corn Pop, and his obsessiveness over getting Andor, she took on that persona and made bad decisions in order to track down Axis. So
did you guys talk about this last week? The "Who are you" line from the Gorman massacre.
When we did talk about those episodes, that was a few weeks back, and we definitely talked about that. We had that was the episode of the ECPC TV on. What a
I was on that episode. Jeez.
What a powerful line, right? I mean, who are you? Just to completely Greek tragedy, his whole storyline, and
And he's rubbed off on her now because she's so obsessive with Axis.
Right. All right, unboxing. Have a good one, sir. We'll probably be on for a little bit. We've got Wade coming up here to help us wrap up the Andor series. He should be jumping on with us pretty soon. So it was, what an interesting. I'm so glad we we kind of connected those dots because I hadn't previously, and man, that even makes it more sad when we get to Dedra's ending at the end of Andor. But yeah, so Clea finishes her last mission for Luthen, taking him out, unfortunately, which was what had to be done, and she escapes as well.
And we have the longest fade out television history.
Yeah.
Take a look at that fade out on Luthen. It lasts a good 30 seconds.
It's almost as long as the fade out on our intro video.
Right.
So, right. So episode 2 or episode 10, Who Else Knows? And this episode, oh man, you could tell Krennic was having the actor was having so much fun with this role. And the centerpiece of this episode, and where the title comes from, is Dedra's interrogation. And this is also where we learn how she figured out who Axis was. And they connect a dot for us. And this is what I meant when we first started talking about the last episode, in terms of not giving us everything, but eventually giving us everything.
Yeah.
And the Krennic is vicious. We hadn't really seen, I felt like most of this season, we really hadn't felt what Krennic was like. He seemed different than what he was in Rogue One, a little more whimsical. And this interrogation scene gave us in my mind, gave us the Krennic of Rogue One. And I liked that transition.
From a filmmaking point of view, the fact that we see Dedra in the same interrogation chair that she had Cyril in season 1, and there's nothing around, there's just her in the chair. And then Krennic comes in behind her, and we only see him from the neck down.
Yeah.
So we can't see his face, just like she can't see his face.
And what a bit of acting on her part, because the camera's only on her face.
Yes.
And
you're seeing it from her point of view because she can't see Krennic. And then when he puts his fingers on the top of her head, and she doesn't know if that's a blaster or what.
Right. And come to find out behind the scenes, that was completely ad-libbed by Krennic.
Really?
That was not part of the script. The whole finger on the head.
Really?
He improvised that during one of the takes.
So her shocked look is genuine.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Exactly. And the look of terror on her face, the acting, the actress for Dedra did a phenomenal job in that scene with the acting. And you're right, with the cinematography, the way it was framed, with not seeing his head, was just, that's been one of my favorite scenes, and the sheer terror. And again, the parallel with Corn Pop, because she's now realizing that she means nothing to the Empire, just like Corn Pop really meant nothing as well. And they're just cogs in a wheel that can be disposed of at any time. And here she's done all this work. She's done was running Gorman for Krennic, and he doesn't care. He doesn't care. All he cares is about protecting
results.
Is the result, which Partagaz did mention in episode 1 of this season, was that he said Krennic just cares about results. And when Dedra wasn't getting him results and was actually a liability, she was disposable. Yeah,
and there's something early, I think it's early in this particular episode, where Krennic says something. It's a nice little bone, but he's already frustrated because he was due on Scarif, and this is holding him up. You know, it was a nice little tie into Rogue One, and also gave us some character development.
Dun dun dun. But yeah, it was a very interesting episode, and I enjoyed it very much. And then meanwhile, Clea gets back to the safe house, breaks a radio out of that's been in the concrete of the wall, an old school radio, to where she's going to start sending off messages, which she does. And Andor and Wilhelm, and who's it? Mushy? Not Mushy. Why am I
Melchi?
Melchi. It's been a few weeks since we watched the episode.
Wilmon and Melchi.
Wilmon and Melchi, right. And we get that. Is this the episode where they're playing cards with K2?
Yes.
I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, because Wilmon gets the Morse code. I don't know what they call it in the show, but the Morse code and goes and breaks up their little game when they're totally scamming on K2 playing Galactic Poker or whatever they're playing.
Yep. Meanwhile, the Empire is able to access a little bit of the radio, this encrypted kind of Morse code thing, and Luthen didn't completely ruin it or sabotage the radio, and Clea's in the safe house that we've seen multiple times before, calling for help, and Melchi, Andor, K2, and Willem respond. And again, doing what they want, just taking a ship when they're not.
Yeah, without a flight plan.
Without a flight plan. Oh, and they really established K2's personality in this episode, which was wonderful. And just that Andy Tudyk, only Andy Tudyk can do. But before we get into that, we're gonna bring our guest on to help us wrap this up with Andor.
You mean I don't have to carry the show anymore?
Nope. So, Wade, how are you?
Wade!
What is up, guys?
How you doing, Wade?
Welcome back, sir.
Well, I made it in the lick of time.
Right on.
I pulled into the driveway, hopped out of the car, ran up the stairs, came in, kissed the wife, said hi to the kids, and booked it to the office.
Right on. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. It's great to have you back. We've been talking Andor, and we were talking ICCC earlier, and we were also talking our which I was telling the guys, because we're in Murfreesboro this week, or for that trip this year, and I was like, it's like if we had one extra day, we wanted to come down and see you.
So close.
But we also had job responsibilities to pay the bills in order to go to ICCC. So DB and I had to both work the next day. So we were like, but yeah, one of these years we need to plan an extra day and drive the extra 3 hours and come down and see you.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'd love to have you there.
Yeah, in the store in Chattanooga. But yeah, we're 2 days away from our 4th anniversary, and
wow,
in this space, and so it's great to have another Brown Squadron member on the show. And so yeah, thanks. How have you been, sir?
Oh, hanging in there, man. We're going on a little over half a year of being open, so it's been good. I mean, there's been a lot of positive movement in the right direction, a lot of growth. It's just been really cool to see everything going on with the store. Lots of playing. I get paid to play with bricks. I mean, come on,
right? I know. I love your social media.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
I try really hard at that.
Yeah. If you love good social media, follow Bricks and Minifigs of Chattanooga, and Wade and his team has a lot of fun doing it. You can tell.
Oh yeah. We usually most takes we only do once or twice, but there are some where we end up laughing through like 5 or 6 takes before we actually get one that sticks.
Right. So yeah, we were talking about episode 11, which is Who Else Knows, and we were talking about the infamous interrogation scene with Krennic and Dedra. And we talked about the previous episode with the whole Clea takes on the Empire in the Linso hospital, and the flashbacks, and but yeah, what were your thoughts about these final 3 episodes?
I could not have asked for better Star Wars. I mean, I'm all for Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau taking the reins, but Gilroy is right there with them, in my opinion. I mean, Andor, the finale was phenomenal. Andor as a whole. I think Rogue One, Andor season 1 and season 2 have now taken my favorite Star Wars spots, even over, like Return of the Jedi and Revenge of the Sith and Kenobi and like all these other things that I've held so highly. Yeah, this really scratched every single itch I have in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's proof that you can have different styles of storytelling in the space, and that they can work. Yeah, we were we were making some connections that didn't even dawn on us until this episode, until talking about these episodes, where Dedra's storyline in this final arc, that she took on after we call him Corn Pop, but Cyril's death, she took on his obsessiveness. And had almost the same kind of result, realizing almost had a "who are you" moment with Krennic in that interrogation, to where her obsessiveness, and she thought she was so much more important than what she was, and in the end, to the Empire, you're nothing.
Yep. And she kind of ended up at the bottom of the totem pole, just like Cyril did. And end result was the same, except Cyril was at least free. She ended up in the prison, so not upset with that, Is this the episode, refresh my memory here, was episode 11 where Lucian was confronted in his shop by Dedra, or no, that was 10?
That was okay. Not 10. That was 10, 11. Yeah, I don't know why I keep saying 9, but that was 10. And 10, 11, and 12. So 10 was, and it had all the flashbacks, and and that was a great scene too. And the fact that we didn't even learn until the interrogation scene how she figured out who Axis was. And because it was just a little piece of information, an obscure piece of questioning that the Empire thought was inconsequential, and relating to meeting an antiquities dealer. And then she was able to finally piece those things together. But in the end, it didn't even matter to the Empire. Yep. All they were worried about was their secrecy of the Death Star project.
We were talking about the use of humor in the previous episode with the E.T. character.
E.T. Grandma.
E.T. Granny. But in this one, Luthen has only had a chance to half fry their radio equipment. And so they've got technicians in there trying to figure all this out. And the one technician is just totally nerding out. Look at this. They're using our own towers. And, and the supervisors are like, just get us the information.
Right.
I thought that was hilarious.
Little details like that make all the difference in a show. Because I can tell you, I related with them, not on the technology side, because I'm not a technological guy. I can barely figure out how to turn a computer on. But, when I'm in my element at our store, and someone comes in and starts asking questions about Star Wars Lego or this Lord of the Rings, I totally related on an emotional level with how they're geeking out about what they're doing. Right. I was like, yep, I'm right there. I get it. I understand what your thought process is behind this. Yeah. And you could tell they were passionate about what they do, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was just a nice little nugget of humor in a very tense episode, because the rest of the episode is really character driven with Clea now on the run in the safe house, and you really only see her anxiety and desperation, not knowing if anybody's going to come for her,
if anyone's listening, if anyone's coming, what is the end result going to be? And it was a close call.
And on the other end, you've got Andor and K2 and Melchi, trying to get there, not knowing who's there and what the situation's going to be. It just, usually you get these omniscient views of everything, and here you're getting these isolated groups, not knowing what's coming together, and then you got this radio tech geeking out about the antennas.
Yes, right.
Well, it just shows every organization needs its nerds, right?
Yep,
and
absolutely.
And you gotta, absolutely. I forgot about that bit, DB, and that was a great bit. So we see Melchi and K2 and Cassian flying to Coruscant, and I'm glad that they brought Melchi in at the last part. We get a little more Melchi. I'm so happy for that actor that he got a little more screen time.
I've loved seeing how they've really developed his, Melchi's a really good example of how, everyday citizens ended up joining the rebellion. You see kind of his story from meeting Andor and then getting kind of roped in all the way through. I mean, what a great way to take a background character insignificant in the movie and expound upon, hey, he's been here since these events, you know. I love that aspect of it, in terms of, you know, not that I don't like, you know, Andor and seeing how he gets roped in and everything, but just seeing some of these other characters that were like, I know that person, I've seen him in this movie, and now we're getting more of this random person. That's all. To me, that was really cool.
I totally agree.
And so the Empire, the Empire nerds intercept the signal as well, and they're tracking it. So now it's a race to see who can get to Clea first. And before we get into that, talk about a character coming out and just being such a badass, Clea. I mean, episode 10 was her coming out story, because she's always been a secondary character to Luthen. And on our show, we've talked about previously, like, who's really pulling the strings on that one, you know, on that relationship, because Clea's, you know, we've gotten hints of it. And then in episode 10, she's like, holy cow, you know, super, and not even, you know, sometimes when strong female characters, they could overdo it on the super commando side of things, you know, and instead she didn't have to be. She used her intelligence and she used her wit and discipline to infiltrate that hospital. And, you know, a blaster, she didn't have to worry about any hand-to-hand fights, because that's obviously not going to be her, you know. She just well-written character in terms of
played
how
to her strengths incredibly well.
She did.
No question about that. It wasn't one of these, you know, we need to have Cara Dune who can, you know, run with the guys. You know, it's not what we're needing
physically
here. Yes, exactly. It's the, hey, this is a strong woman who knows her strengths, knows what she's capable of, and went for it and accomplished exactly what she needed to do.
Oh, hell yeah.
Very, very competently amongst many other professionals who really should have been on top of something like that.
Yeah. I definitely want to see more Clea. I want to read more about Clea. I would love, we were talking about, you know, because like pre this storyline, you have Omega. Who was it, DB? You had Omega, Clea, and who was the third?
Enfys Nest.
Oh, Enfys Nest, all around the same time. And what if you did some spin-off with the three of them in like a Charlie's Angels type of setup?
Yeah.
And Luthen is Bosley on the box and giving them their missions. And I would watch that. I would watch that.
I'm all for it.
Or read it, give me a book, something. But
wait, I even have a story arc now.
Oh, we're okay.
You do some episodic 18 kind of espionage things with these three, but toward the end of the series, you have them training Bothans.
It's a good tie-in. I'm at the point right now where, you know, I'll watch anything you throw at me. You know, so I'm excited for, you know, where everything's going.
Well, can we talk about the best part of episode 11?
What's that?
K2SO?
K2SO and human shields.
Yes. Yeah. Right?
Oh, that was so great. Like, I love
what a hallway scene. I mean, just what a hallway scene.
I mean, you knew he was going to come in there like a badass Terminator.
Oh, yeah.
But the fact that, you know, now after the last few episodes, I've learned to hate this guy Hirt. And K2 just uses him, just holds him up like a rag doll.
Right?
Perfect.
Oh, it's perfect. That was what a great, and yeah, we were talking about how they established, you know, the Andy Tudyk K2 character in this arc, which was just great. And I mean, you could already see the sarcasm that he was giving. Was like we've disobeyed 17 orders, make that 18. And it was just like, you know, or I'm gonna tell him I was kidnapped. And you know, when they're getting back to the base. And again, well-placed humor. They really found the proper placement of humor in these episodes, without a doubt. And so yeah, they go rescue. Oh, another part I loved was they used those Imperial drop ships from Rebels.
Yes.
On the Imperial side, and I loved seeing those in live action. That is a cool ship design I've been a fan of since Rebels, without a doubt. And then so they get kind of to a standoff point, and then they end the episode, and then the final episode, Jedha, Kyber, and Urso picks up, and they finish off that fight scene where they rescue Kleia. We see the human shield. Hurt gets his dues finally, and they escape back to Yavin. And this episode had some good, I would call it Attack of the Clones political, intrigue in it, in terms of it really represents the delicate nature of the Rebel Alliance with its leadership having different viewpoints. I was happy with Benjamin Bratt's portrayal of Bail. I thought he did just fine. And they, and the decisions they have to make, because at first Bail's like, no, we're not doing anything. We're not going to go paramilitary yet. We got to stay hidden. But then in the end, he's the one that sends Cassian out on the final mission before Rogue One. And it was a great, and then seeing Saw, again, they're, how they just can't trust Saw. And
don't know where I'm at.
Well, and then that connects to his paranoia in Rogue One. He's like, they sent you to kill me, didn't they? They sent you to kill me,
Yep.
And they threw that scene in there. What a great, just great connection points all together. We see Cassian's, acceptance that, he's full board. It's been a year since Bix left, and his commitment to the rebellion, because he wants to get this done so that he can reunite with Bix at some point. Seeing them, them train, Vel, Mon, eating with the troops, solidifying her friendship with them. Seeing Vel kind of move on, but then I don't know about you guys, but when and Kleia is afraid to go to Yavin because she knows what an outsider is, and that's proven by the council's arguing with Cassian about Luthen, and they don't, because he's so uncontrollable to people that are used to having control, these former senators, and they she's afraid to go there because she was his right-hand person, or maybe the one in charge. And when she woke up in that infirmary and she started walking, did you guys think she was just going to walk out into the woods and to get eaten by one of those creatures?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was kind of one of those, like, anything is better than being here with everything that she's known being ripped away from her, just having to go through something traumatic, like, ending her adopted father's life. Everything about that, I think it was just trauma was setting in, and she was done with it.
Well, that's the thing. We've talked about how she was just the steely one the whole time. Was she really calling the shots on everything? And then you see her desperation waiting for rescue. And now she's on Yavin, and you see she's human. She's out of her element and doesn't know what to do. Yeah, that's why I'd love to see her story continued in some fashion. Because obviously we've seen, like you mentioned, Mon Mothma's there amongst the troops, sitting with her cousin Vel. And Vel actually is the one that accepts Kleia. Hey, we get it. We were rich mofos too, and now look at us. There's so much going on. The whole 12th episode to me felt like an epilogue of some kind. Like, the story's done. Now here's where we transition into the story, and it was so well done. And if you haven't done it yet, go ahead and watch season 2, and then throw in the film. Throw in Rogue One. It's seamless.
Yeah, I really like that it was Vel that kind of brought her back, because the whole series they had this antagonistic relationship.
Yes.
And I still think my headcanon is still that their exes, but and that was the source of the antagonistic nature of their relationship. But yeah, I really like the fact that and you're right, DB, you nailed it. It was kind of like an epilogue before Rogue One. And yeah, and then we finally get to see, I mean, the parting shot, you called it, because Bix's actress leaked or kind of mentioned it at Celebration that she's in the final scene of Andor. And I really would have been very upset to not get any more information about B2. And the way they did it, I was fine. I was happy. B2 has a home. The dog, the family dog is okay. He's safe.
And Gilroy has confirmed that B2 is the pet.
Yep. Named after his dog BMO. Or his son's dog,
awesome.
BMO. Yeah. So he designed B2's character like a family dog right from the get-go. And to see BMO running around essentially wagging its tail happy with Bix, so somebody he knows, and now Cassian Jr. On backup Lothal, that I would not have been happy with the series if we did not get to see BMO one more time. That would have really upset me.
The only thing about that last shot that I predicted this. I don't know if I ever mentioned in the show. I'm like, Bix is going to end up pregnant. I figured the last shot of the show is going to be her on Yavin watching the U-Wing take off with Cassian.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got the location wrong. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, that was about the only predictable thing in season 2 was she's going to end up with Cassian's child, and that's going to change your whole perspective of Rogue One.
Yep. Without a doubt. And then they color matched. If you notice, they color matched the final scene of her with of Jyn and Cassian on Scarif as the blast is coming in to take them all out. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't catch that.
There were some side-by-side shots on social on that.
And it's genius.
Yeah. Yeah, without a doubt. But yeah, you're right. It was an epilogue. It was a good epilogue episode. And so we'll transition into overall as a series. What are some thoughts about the series as a whole? Wade?
10 out of 10. I mean, I kind of went off a little bit at the beginning, but it's got to be my favorite show, season 2 specifically. But it's I cannot find a single thing in season 2 that I was unhappy with. There wasn't. It was flawless.
Not even rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock.
Nope. Didn't bother me a bit. I mean, to me, this was the best piece of Star Wars cinema I've ever seen.
I would agree. I was a convert. I didn't care for season 1 the first time I watched it. Had my eyes open to a few things. Rewatched it going into season 2. And now I would say you let Gilroy write whatever he wants to write in the Star Wars universe. Mm-hmm. It's possible he could actually make the sequel trilogy tolerable if he did the right stuff.
I would agree with that. I'm fully on board with that. I mean, I kind of feel the same way. I enjoyed season 1, but I wasn't like, I remember in the moments of watching it when they were coming out, I was excited. It was like, oh yeah, we're getting new Star Wars. But there wasn't anything that really, really stood out to me. And I had realized, I rewatch Star Wars shows all the time. It's almost all I watch. It drives my wife nuts. It's all I watch. And Andor was the only show, even Acolyte, I've rewatched before I've rewatched Andor. And so I had gone back and rewatched season 1 in prep for season 2. And I remember watching through it and going, oh, this is really good writing. This is really good acting, storytelling. Everything about it was really good. And then leading into and how season 2 was executed, I am an Andor stan all the way.
Oh, yeah. I think one of the things, and we kind of glossed over this because I don't remember if it was episode 11 or 12, But they brought back Nemec's manifesto in a nice way.
Oh yeah.
The Empire had gotten a hold of the manifesto, and it was introduced to us by Partagaz listening to it,
Mm-hmm.
and then being called to see his superiors about all the fiasco that have gone down. And he like Luthen basically has one option.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that goes down is just beautiful cinema. But the fact that they brought back that manifesto from, what was it, the second arc of the first season?
Right.
I mean, you really had to go back to get that.
Mm-hmm.
It was just brilliant.
Yeah, the little details throughout really built up the show in a way I did not expect.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And was that a DL-44 that he used to pop himself? It looked like a DL-44. For those that don't know, DL-44 is Han Solo's blaster, and it definitely looked like one to me. But
well, Han shot first, so my clunky.
Wait, you know what? You know what? I'm trying to think time wise. Time wise, it might have been around the same time. It would have been pretty close, because probably about a weekend in advance, because that's right, because Rogue One is then before in the New Hope.
Rogue One. Well, and how it literally leads in season 2 to Rogue One to A New Hope.
Mm-hmm. Got my timelines confused there for a second. One of the other things we mentioned earlier about connecting points between seasons, Wikipedia posted this today, and I thought it was really cool. When Dedra talks about being raised in an Imperial Kinderblock at the infamous dinner party with Stuart Corn Pop's mom, Wikipedia posted today that the Kinderblock concept was introduced in the reference book Star Wars: The Rise and Fall of the Galactic Empire by our buddy Dr. Chris Kempshaw. And I was like, I shouted that out on Instagram today because I was so happy for that to get mentioned, because something that Doc had a hand in got into live action, and I couldn't be happier for Doc on that one, for sure. But yeah, overall, I thought the series was good. Definitely. It is again, a true testament to the different styles of story you can tell. It's probably definitely moved up the list to maybe 3 for me out of Star Wars live action. I'll say live action. I'm not going to count animated, because then you got to really start questioning the list. But because you got things like Bad Batch. I mean, Bad Batch is some great storytelling. I mean, just great. But for live action, Andor was probably, it's always been kind of middle of the pack, only because I'll never get over Mando. I mean, just Mando's my jam. And I think that Skeleton Crew is a little underrated as well, just because it knew what it was. And I thought it did a great job at what it was. But yeah, definitely from a serious storytelling point, takes all the top honors without a doubt. I kind of had expected them to do the actual spy stuff that Andor was doing as the fashion designer on Gorman. I thought that would be more in season 1, that kind of, because when they tell you it's an espionage spy story type of story, I expected more of that then, but I'm not unhappy with it being in season 2 by any means. But it was a good way to wrap up the series. I was happy with it.
You mentioned the Bad Batch, and there were a lot of threads left open. Mm-hmm. And then Bad Batch had that little time jump where now Omega is an adult. Mm-hmm. And we talked about Omega and Clea and maybe Enfys Nest. We need to go back and revisit the 3 of them doing some espionage with Mount Tantus and the cloning. And, here's a great opportunity to use some characters and situations that are already established that could just expand the universe, you know?
Well, and with Tales of the Underworld coming out, we know Asajj is out there as well.
Well, yeah.
You know, and well, I mean, we knew where she was out there because she was in Bad Batch, but you know, yeah, you've got a great cast of characters that you could really tell some intriguing stories with.
And it's crazy; those are all strong female characters.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'm not complaining. I want good characters. I don't care if you know they're purple, three-headed, bisexual aliens. I don't care.
Right.
Give me a good story.
It's just that they're good characters.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've done some great storytelling. Yeah, so that's Andor. That's man, what a heck of a 2 seasons. What an unexpected. And it was funny because I remember when Andor season 1 came out, before it even came out, I was telling the guys on the show, I was like, this is going to be a sleeper hit. This is going to be an unexpected hit. You know, people are not expecting what this is going to be, I think. And I didn't know anything more about it at the time, but it just had that feeling that it was going to be something. And I think it was because of when you look at the pedigree of the people behind the show, you know, how you had good quality, talented people making this show. And that's the result. Experienced people as well, not just newcomers, but experienced storytellers. And that can make a difference. That can make a real difference in the finished product that you get.
And you know some other threads that Gilroy or anybody else could pick up? We got Perrin out there still hooking up with his kid's in-law, okay, whose husband is a gangster. You know, we've got Han Solo who smuggles spice for gangsters. You know, you could interweave some more stories there very easily.
Yeah, that was an epilogue I did not expect. Pimp Daddy Perrin. I mean, what the heck was that? And because we were questioning it after the last 3 episodes, we were like, after what was it, 8, 9, and no 7, 8, and 9, we were like, after Mon Mothma gets removed from Coruscant, we're like, well, what about Perrin? What's going to go on there? Is the Empire going to have some sort of retribution, or what are they doing? And yeah, I need a side story now. How did Perrin go from Mothma's removal from Coruscant to hooking up with the gangster's wife, piercing the ear, which that was a surprise. But I guess there was a deleted scene that Perrin has with Mon Mothma where he knew the whole time what she was up to. And I'm kind of mixed. Part of me thinks, man, they should have included that, but at the same time, I'm kind of glad they didn't. I mean, not that I liked Perrin in season 2. I thought he definitely had a good.
Yeah, you guys were all on the Perrin train for a while there.
Oh, we were, without
but
a doubt.
You know, here, you know, sure, why wasn't he immediately scooped up and interrogated by the Empire? Well, hey, maybe I love this. The Desperate Housewives of Chandrila. Yes. We need a new set there, Carbonites. We need a new set. But see, you know, maybe the Empire is secretly employing Perrin to get the dirt on Gangster Boy. I can't even think of his name right now. You know, there's all kinds of webs that could be woven. It's crazy.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say I kind of wish we did get that the deleted scene, because when I had seen that come out, I had read kind of the couple of lines he had, and I was like, oh, that's heartbreaking. You know, it adds another element of, not that I'm unhappy with how it ended to begin with, but that kind of mindset of, yeah, I knew all along and never broke. You know, I wanted to like Perrin. So there were so many times where I could see, you know, they obviously were butting heads or frustrated with each other, but that's marriage. Like marriage is like that so often, where, it's not rose-colored glasses all the time. But then
Mhm.
there are times where they genuinely seem to be, okay being in each other's presence and even reminiscing over fond memories they had and shared, So it's kind of
Mhm.
this back and forth on, whether we should be on the parent train or not.
Mhm.
And, when he gives his speech earlier in the season during the wedding, I thought, I kind of get where he's coming from. It's not all roses and, parties and having fun and, all this stuff. It can be hard.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, I
then
like this. I like
that
the
deleted
speech.
scene, to me, that deleted scene adds so much more to the wedding speech, in
Mhm.
my opinion. I would have liked to get it. I'm not upset that we didn't, but it definitely would have added another element for me.
No, you're right. No, that's a good point. That's a really good point. And it was Skulden, Davos Skulden.
Skolden, thank you.
Skulden, yeah. So, yeah, it's either way, but yeah, the heartbreak factor would have been, yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. Um, but then we wouldn't have pimp daddy parents. So I don't
It's
know.
also true.
Any other thoughts on Andor before we give away some stuff, guys?
Andor's fantastic, and the Gorman Massacre is some of the best television ever.
All right.
That whole arc is just phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was never going to buy the Lego set for Andor season 2 until I watched Andor season 2, and then I was like, yeah, I have to. I have to have these characters.
Yeah.
So Andor convinced me to buy more Lego, which isn't a hard stretch, but
yeah.
That's funny. I'm trying to see if Skulden the actor has any Trek history, because just to annoy Scruffy when he listens to the replay, but I'm not seeing anything. He was in The Crown though as King George. Interesting. The Crown was a good series. Nope, no Star Trek. That's too bad. So anyway, yeah, that's Andor. Throw your comments in the chat if you want to. About what you thought about Andor. It was a great series, without a doubt. Definitely goes down in the record books. Also, your last chance to type in #Cantwell for this print that we are giving away in just a few minutes. And let's see, this autographed Colin Cantwell print that we were going to give away. So make sure #Cantwell in the comments. So it's been a little bit since we saw you, Wade. So Tales of the Underworld, quick thoughts on that?
Half of it I absolutely loved. Half of it I thought, this is an old, we've gotten this story before. It just in different forms. I loved Asajj Ventress. Everything to do with her. They left off at the end of the Dark Disciple book, which was perfect tying that in. And if you guys haven't read, I don't know if you guys have read that.
I've read it. DB has it, but
I have not.
Oh man, Dark Disciple is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
And I loved the fact that they brought that in, and that we're getting more, not necessarily light side Asajj, but hero in a little bit, but still having ties in with her separatist background. And how she's kind of navigating this whole new world of it's not separatists versus Republic anymore. So loved that. Cad Bane, I mean, I like getting his backstory. I think it's cool. He's never been a character that really intrigued me all that much. So that kind of set me off to be like, I'm not as invested in those episodes. But the whole, him and a best friend growing up as street urchins, one gets rescued out of the crime world and the other one doesn't. And then there's a showdown. And the only thing that really stood out to me was that twist at the end with the kid.
Yeah.
That was it for me.
Another character that has a kid. So wondering, shout out to Star Wars Meg, who started pointing that stuff out and guessed after the Cad Bane reveal that Cassian would have one too. It's almost like they're raising another generation of Star Wars characters.
What?
Planning for the future.
Planning for the future. Yeah, it could very well be. Well, cool. Very, very cool. Let's let's give away this print and bring the screen on. So share screen, and All right. So we are going to give away this Colin Cantwell print. And let me get some mood music going on here. And
got some slow jizz.
Yep, that's what it is. And it is going to Connor Williams.
Connor!
Congratulations, Connor. So you win the autographed Colin Cantwell print. Go ahead and DM me, or you can email us at brownsquadron@gmail.com. But you can DM me on any of our socials, and we'll get together, get your contact information, and we're going to get that shipped off to you. And then we are going to make sure I write that down. And it was Williams. All right. And then the consolation prize that we are going to give away, back to my screen here, is the, let's see if I can show this one more time. It is the Hot Wheels Cantwell Cruiser ship. And we're going to give that away as a consolation prize for the drawings tonight. We appreciate everybody that's been tuning in for our Andor wrap-ups or Andor episodes. Hope you've enjoyed our takes on everything. So let's go ahead and draw for the consolation prize. And it is going to Unboxing. Woohoo. All right, and I have your contact information because he won a previous drawing with us. He won the Black Series Andor Special Forces, Imperial Special Forces that we gave away. So, yeah, congratulations to both of you on that. And unboxing. So, yeah. All right.
But isn't everybody a winner for getting to listen to us?
Yeah.
I'm a legend in my own mind there, Wade. Sorry.
That's right.
Why
We get to have wonderful guests like Wade on the show.
Oh,
That's
man.
right.
That's how we're winning, right?
This is my only outlet now. Records is kind of not quite done, but probably done for a while.
On hiatus for a while.
Yeah.
There you go.
We all
Very semi-permanent break for now.
Yeah. No, that happens. Well, Wade, tell everybody where they can find the Bearded Brick.
Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. I don't do a lot of YouTube videos outside of the shorts that I do for TikTok yet, but TikTok and Instagram are where I'm most active. Just posting Lego. I usually get on and stream most nights that I'm not working late. I'll get on and stream on TikTok and build a set and just chat with people in the community who like Lego.
Right on. Any cool new sets coming out on the horizon?
Oh man,
that you can talk about.
Yes, but not that I can. I mean, so it all depends on if you're talking just Star Wars. Because outside of Star Wars, yeah, there's some really cool ones that have come out recently. Like June 1st, we had the start of these Book Nook sets. Which, if you like reading, if you collect different books, series, that kind of thing, we got a Lord of the Rings Book Nook, a Sherlock Holmes Book Nook, and a Harry Potter Book Nook set. And they basically fit perfectly on your bookshelf in between your books, just like the name implies. And they depict some kind of scene from one of the books. I ended up getting the Lord of the Rings one. It was Mines of Moria, Gandalf versus the Balrog. Cool. First time we've ever gotten a brick-built Balrog of any kind. So I'm very excited that comes in tomorrow. Star Wars, I can't say what sets are coming out. They're still rumored.
Okay.
But August is going to be an expensive month for me. I can say that much. It is. It's some of the characters. We're getting some characters in some of these sets that we've never gotten before. They're characters that everyone has asked for a long, long time. Specifically some clone commanders. These are, and they're Revenge of the Sith clone commanders. So you can kind of, by process of elimination, you can go and see which ones we've gotten and which ones we haven't, and figure out which ones we're getting.
I want to see a giant Gorman Plaza with like hundreds of little brick figures you can lay face down around the Gorman Plaza. Is that too macabre?
It might not be quite up Lego's alley. Their Lego, I don't know if you guys know this, but Lego is short for Leg Got, which means play well. And that doesn't quite depict play well, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay, I've had a lot of good ideas. That wasn't one of them.
But yeah, the August releases, what we are getting a $1,000 UCS Death Star coming out in October. That's one that I can talk about a little bit.
Oh, wow.
And it's rumored to have like 38 to 40 figures in it. It's going to be massive.
Holy
wow.
cow.
Yeah. So that one looks like it's going to be incredible. But we don't have any images on it yet. No real details other than price point.
Maybe Lego would do it without the stormtroopers shooting everyone.
Yeah, they're all just sleeping face down in the plaza. Yeah.
So you could, in theory, have Tarkin's Star Destroyer just landed in the plaza.
Oh, there we go.
You don't show, I mean, we can work around it.
Yeah, it's the original Gorman Massacre.
That's right.
Yeah. I did like how they worked that in the story. I did like the fact
that was the little
great
details
retcon
along the way.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, little details. The guy who was the bellhop, who was later at the registration counter, who's actually a revolutionary, knew exactly who Andor. Wow. Okay, shutting up. What do you got next, Ground Leader?
All right. Well, thanks, Wade, for joining us tonight. Yeah, check out the Bearded Brick. Also, follow Bricks and Minifigs Chattanooga. You won't regret it. It is a good time. He and his crew again do a great job with that. So we're going to do our last segment of the show, and then we're going to get out of here for tonight, which is
That Was Dad Joke of the Week.
Oh,
that's the wrap up.
That was the wrap up. How did I do that one? Here we go. Scruffy's not here. That's why.
Yeah.
Dad joke of the week. Time to annoy Scruffy and DB. Dad joke of the week.
All right, Star Wars Dad Jokes brought to you by Star Wars Dad Jokes by Kelly Knox. Book is available at all book retailers, Amazon, etc. All right. Make sure I get this queued up right.
This must be a groaner.
It is. So why did and timely for our topic too, why did the rebel take a bath after stealing the Death Star plans? For a clean getaway.
That was Dad Joke of the Week Now don't you feel absolutely complete?
I know Scruffy's going to groan really bad when he hears that one on the replay.
But you know what? Katie Sackhoff remembered him. So
that's true.
Okay.
Katie Sackhoff remembered him. Yes.
We have not mentioned that for like an hour. So.
I know, right? So, so everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening tonight, listening to the replay when this gets posted, watching the live show. Congratulations to our drawing winners tonight for Connor Williams and unboxing, you guys. And thanks for the chat in general. We would love our chat. You guys are the best. Guys and ladies are the best. And we, half the reason I love doing these live streams is the chat, just for the fun. So, and like Carbonites says, make sure you smash that like button, everybody. Make sure you follow us on a social media. We broadcast these live streams on YouTube, Facebook, and X every Thursday night at 8 o'clock. I will be out the next couple weeks, but the guys will be doing DB and Scruffy Unleashed for the next couple weeks. They've got Stephen Carbo returning next week, so we'll be talking about ExcaliburCon, I'm sure, which is coming up in Duluth in August. So make sure you tune or check in for that. You can find everything. You can find us on all the socials: X, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. You can also email us at brownsquadron@gmail.com and find all of our links for social, for YouTube, etc. Go to beacons.ai/Brown Squadron. All right. Well, guys, thanks for joining tonight. Hope you had a good time. Wade, again, thanks for joining us. Thanks for rushing in. Thank the family for, please, on our behalf, for running in and
the quick hellos and goodbyes.
Yeah, exactly. So let them know we appreciate the sacrifice they made so you could join us. We appreciate that. So, all right. This is Brown Leader signing off for the crew, and you have been listening and watching Hyperspace Heroes. That's no
moon.